It says I'm live, but how can it be live when my camera is off? I don't understand what's going on now. I'm on this one and the camera's on. So let's see. There we go. Okay. So I miss you. I was having so much, and we were in the middle of this awesome conversation, and then all of a sudden, my camera did that. What's with that? So I figured, well, you on here, but it's different now. Everything's different. I have a different angle. I see my teeth worse. That picture. Look at. I have a stack of things behind this chair. I wanted this chair here because it's beside the window. And see, I can sit here and seeds in my hand and I can feed the birds. And you watched the videos, didn't you? Yes, I did it for years and I would do that. And I had a thing hanging there and I had a basket under it. And I would do it and you guys would be here and you would watch them and they would come. And I made so many videos hand feeding the birds. You can look them up. Nancy Today, hand feeding the birds. I may have even numbered them. They're probably in a playlist. Hey, I can't see how many of you are on here or see your messages. If I go to this other one, oh, see, now I can see your messages if I'm over here. Grand fan. Grand fan, who are you? Do I know you? I can't see you very well. You're very far away. Okay, go OBS. I know I have OBS because I want to try on my pineapple goop. I don't know you. And I don't think change your camera. So what I did, I guess, but so I have to come over here to YouTube Studio in order to see your comments. But I have to go over to OBS to see who wants to look at themselves, especially when their tooth is problems. He's going to fill it back up. You see, I went to the dentist. I had 2 rotten teeth. And they both had root canals now. And I guess, and maybe he had some problem because my tooth, the inside of it, he didn't take all the black out before he filled it. And so you could still see through it black. And I couldn't for the life of me figure out why somebody would do that. Unless perhaps it was because the shell was too thin. And if he cut any more of it, it would collapse and you wouldn't have a tooth. But in that case, can they bleach it? For that matter, could I bleach it? I mean, I don't mean bleach, but could I put a drop of hydrogen peroxide? Would that do anything? I poked around at it a bit with one of those dentist things and none of it moved. So I don't know. Which is a good thing, I guess. But oh, now I have to go back over there and see if you said anything. Change my camera. Nothing new yet. But if you want to say something, I'll be checking. If you have a question, you could ask a question. I was playing with my grandson on YouTube. No, not YouTube. On Messenger, and and his tablet, I guess he's on. His tablet would freeze, and so he had it plugged in, but he would tell me it has 0%, but that's a number, so it's still going to work. Anyway, he's 5. And so I would notice the fan, like he would leave me on the bed, right? Like he's 5. So I'm looking at the fan. I see the very edge of his hair, or like the top of his head. But and he's way down at the very bottom of the picture, so you have to go way down there and increase it. Look at that, dirty fingernails again. Gee, you just can't keep them clean, Nancy. The solution to keeping your fingernails clean, I think, is to just take long, luxurious baths and relax and listen to your Google device tell you whatever you want to know. Yeah, and until I do that, I think I'm just going to have to deal with it. I move things around. That's the trouble. I go down there to the stream. I'm always moving things around. And when I wash them, I try and get them clean. Maybe it just shows that I haven't washed them lately. Did I say that in public? Well, they were clean this morning, so it can't be that long. Hey, I was going to tell you what I made for dinner. So I made, hey, if I go over here, will I see who's here? Oh, somebody else says something. Pineapple goop. No, you don't. I'm a girl. I'm a minor, and your channel is really relaxing, so I appreciate your videos. Also, good luck with your camera. Thanks. How old is a minor? Under 18? I'm glad it's relaxing. People told me it's ASM. It's just, I guess, the way I am. I always wanted to be soft-spoken, but I don't really think I am. I think I missed that boat by a lot. I remember somebody was telling me about, oh, I should go back here. Well, no, then I just see me, but it pretends like we're in a conversation. It's different than looking at a blank screen that has a big E on it, or OBE or something like that. This black with these little white lines that go like that. Okay. It was fun laughing with you guys. So we were just on a video and it went dead. And I lost these people that we were visiting. It's amazing how much you guys mean to me. You know, a lot of you. I didn't realize it because I don't think about YouTube anymore, and I don't make videos because my camera doesn't work outside. I don't know. You know, we have low speed compared to the rest of the world. It's like 5 bits per second or something, or maybe 50. I don't know, something small, whatever is too small. Hey, you know what? I planted trees outside years ago, and they're all growing. I mean, not just that they're growing, they are obscuring the view. I'm on the second floor, and I can see them. Like, I can see like 6 feet of the top of the tree. Yeah, it's up above the window. It's above the other one's eye level. It's quite wide. It's about 10 feet wide. Well, I can see the trunk. I could show it to you. Then you know what I'm talking about. No, I can't. You're plugged in. Sorry. It's so much nicer if you could see outside. There. Outside is very pretty, isn't it? I like it outside. So there was something else that my grandson did today that was very funny. I've been taking notes because I think that probably makes them feel good to know that grandma's writing down what they say, right? That it's important. So I had to draw him. Poor child. He doesn't really look like that. He's a normal child. Okay, so every time his thing would freeze up, his fan would stop moving, right? Because he's always leaving the tablet laying on the bed, and I'm looking at the fan going around. And I mean, it's like me leaving this so that you can see the fan going around. See, there you go. This is a grandma-grandson moment. Wait a minute. There, that's better. Yeah, and maybe you get to see a little tiny bit of my head and the fan. Well, anyway, he's got a nice bare ceiling, so it's different. But anyway, so I would say, no, you're frozen, you're freezing, like it would glitch, And I say, oh no, you're going to freeze up. And then it would stop, and I'd say, oh no, you're frozen. And then when it say, oh, you've been frozen, now you're starting again. The fans, oh, the fan is moving. Oh no, the fan stopped, because that's how I knew it had frozen, right? So so then he got the remote control. He lives in a new house. And so he was laying on the bed or somewhere. I couldn't see him. But he was turning control so it would stop, and then it would go and stop and go, and I would think it was frozen again. And then I noticed that his head was moving and the fan was stopping, and I would hear clicks, click, click, and it would stop and go, right? And so what he did, he turned off the fan, and then he stood very still and he froze himself like it was so funny. Trying to pull a fast one on Grandma. That was funny. When your camera cuts off like that, and it's not, those people are not here yet. Or maybe they are. I don't know. I don't know how many, but maybe they are here. I don't think so, because they would have commented. But it's very interesting when you're in a conversation with people and you're doing this, and then it goes dead, and so you start up again. Thing that happens with Zoom meetings. Man, Zoom is quite a world of its own, isn't it? It's quite different. Hey, I gotta check and see if you're under 18. So what does that mean? That whatever it means. 18. Now, this is a very clean channel, so you don't have to worry about anything. I was at my cousin's once, and somebody was there, and they lit up a cigarette, and I was making a video of that on Nancy Today. Or maybe he left. Yes, people don't just put out their cigarettes. They're very addicting, and I guess this vaping is even. And it's a real, with what's going out there out there in the world. I mean, I watch the news, and I guess there's two different realities entirely. Or it's very weird out there. But high school, how has it been? Yeah, I have no idea what it's been like for you in high school this year. What happened? Did you have to do everything online? Man, high school is interesting. And so is it like the teacher's at the front of the room and the videoing is near her, and, like following around and and walking back and forth or whatever, board and asking you guys about it? Like, what is it like? I remember school. It's been a long time. I'm 65. Well, 65 is the year that everybody looks forward to when they're working. Oh, when I'm 65, I can retire. And yet, they look at people that are 65 with some sort of a, I don't know what you are, kind of an attitude. You're wrinkled. I'm not wrinkled. You're wrinkled, and you're got white hair, and you walk very well, and you're very different than me. And so I used to be that way. I would come into a room and there'd be people that were older or whatever, and they did not exist. They were just, and then I became invisible to other people, and it was so interesting what happened. And so I joined up with because I just thought they were wonderful. And it was so nice to once again be part of civilization, or not that I like civilization as it may be, but a person I am, Oh, very chaotic, but we're back full time at my school now. In the beginning of the year, we did Zoom, and then tried a lot of different schedules before going back full time. I can't imagine. So do you feel like you learned a year's worth of stuff while you were, and you had your books? And I remember many in university, you couldn't just study the books. You had to listen to the lectures, because if you missed the lectures, then you didn't have enough for the. But in high school, everything was pretty well in the book. They just covered what was in the book. I really liked writing. You learned a lot, but not a lot. Yeah, you learned a lot, but not as much as you would have learned if you were doing it in the other way. Yeah, was it harder? Did you find that you had questions? Or I guess if you were on Zoom, were you looking at the teacher or were you looking at the material? It's such a different world out there, isn't it? You didn't get any work on paper or books because they were worried the virus, oh no. Oh yeah. If you have the text, study the textbook. Too bad everybody couldn't just order them online and have the books, both the teacher and the material. OBS Studio, where I can be on Minecraft and you can see my Minecraft world. And what you mean? She would screen share the document. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Are they? Well, I have multiple teachers. Yeah, in high school you do. You have a different teacher for every subject. And is it a different Zoom then each time as well? You'd have the meeting number for math is always the same, but it's different from the meeting number for English. What do they teach in learn reading, writing, and arithmetic? And then it became literature, composition, and algebra. Yeah, it was different. I bet. Interesting. My mother, she would say, so much since I was young. She had a horse to the neighborhood grocery store in Miller. She lived next door to Millerton, New York, which was just a little bit of a crossroads, and it was quite a big town, I guess. As far as little crossroads go, there were some streets. I'm not sure how much of it, though. If I had Google here, I would ask, how big was Millerton, New York in 19... I would. Math, science, English. Oh, okay, the required classes. And then we have electives. Oh, so it hasn't changed. Okay. Yeah, my kids went to high school, and that's what they had. But my sons, when we got a computer when it was a 286. We couldn't afford a 386, and certainly not a 486. Well, I had Miss Patat for art, and she was amazing. I loved art. I loved to draw. I loved drawing with charcoal and pencil. I didn't get into the various gradients of pencil. Maybe I did. I don't know. But I remember her teaching you draw what you see, not what you think it looks like. So, okay, here's a spoon sticking out. Now, what does it look like? Does it look like a bowl? Can you see part of it? What is the actual shape of what you're seeing? You know that it's the top of a spoon, but it's not. It's shaped like this. See, what is that shape? And so you look at the shape and you see the shape that I'm seeing. So draw what you see, not what you think it is. This, can't believe I have plastic in my house. I go to visit a friend, and she had apples she wanted me to have, and so she gave this to me. Anyway, she lives in a home. She's paraplegic. Anyway, so like something like that. A jar, you think you know what the seen a jar, but the jar does not look like what you think it looks like. And that shape, that's like what, a 1/4 inch? And then at the edge, see how it changes at the edge? Anyway, I digress. So let's see, another favorite music. I like to sing, but I don't think I made it in. We had this cool art teacher. His daughter's name was Lida Wright. I was thinking about the word name Lida while I was pregnant. And I really liked that name, and it just kept coming to mind. And it didn't really. Later on, because later on, I found out that my mother-in-law, whose name was Lily, it was abbreviated for, and there's 7 generations in my husband's side of the family that is Dutch, and 7 variations of Alida. Anyway, there's not all variations. I mean, but anyway, and here I had been given that name in my head. Like, I didn't sort of come up with a name by some kind of it's just a name that popped into my head. When something pops into from me, that's not from my intelligence. It's not anything to do with me. It's from him. It comes into my head. Boom! It never existed until the phone is ringing. Anyway, so anyway, I was prompted to name her Lida before I knew that she was going to be the 7 Alidas. Isn't that interesting how the Lord prepares the way for what he wants, or for what is whatever. I'm not sure that it mattered to him what she would be called. I think those are some people. I think it mattered to him. I mean, change people's names. He didn't object to them being called when they were growing up, but he got to a point and he said, okay, well, you're now going to be called this. He's got his own agenda. Oh well, but we won't think about that. Orchestra. I was in the band for a little while. I played the clarinet because you had to. Yes, I'm a Christian. Jesus Christ is my Savior and my Redeemer, and he takes care of me, and he holds my hand when I have a horrible time. And sometimes I have a horrible time, and I hold his hand, and just picturing him there holding my hand, I can feel the peace flowing into me. It's amazing how it relaxes me. I mean, some people say they don't believe in God. Well, that's lovely, but what's this? He's right there. When I hold his hand, he's there. There's a song that keeps popping into my head. If the Savior stood beside me, would I do the things I do? Follow his commandments. Anyway, that's all I can remember. Would I try to share the gospel? Would I something and be true? If I could feel the Savior standing near, watching over me. Isn't that a beautiful song? Would I do the things I do? I had to, I know he is. He's right here. Isn't that cool? And it takes so long for people to find out sometimes. Sometimes I think that all the trouble and trials and stuff, I think that we're just supposed to humble ourselves, like to give up doing it on our own. I, me, the pride. We're just supposed to like go with the flow. It's a whole different thing to serve somebody. I will serve you. I will do what you want. What would you like me to do? That's a whole different mind. Yeah, what would I like to do today? Well, this. That's the way I usually am. Sometimes I humble myself better than before. I have often liked older people. My whole life, I never really hung out with people my age. I always liked people that were quite a bit older. When I was involved in the petty things that went on in high school, I would be friends with the parents. Had a farm and she had peach trees. I helped her harvest her peaches. I don't know how I found her, but I didn't answer an ad. But she taught me that you can't take it until it's breaking yellow. Like there's a spot on or breaking orange. There's something about the yellow, a certain kind of yellow on a peach, and you couldn't pick it before that. Because you're not supposed to squeeze every peach before you pick it, It's not a good idea if you're going to sell them. But I bought many a peach that has many a squeeze mark. Wouldn't it be interesting for DNA on a peach? All those people's DNA do you think have touched that peach? There's a person that picked it. So it was picked and went into a basket. And from there, it was probably rolled carefully into a bigger container of peaches. And then, or maybe other ones, and baskets were just filled. And then if they come to Canada, they probably went on a conveyor belt. And they probably went sorting process, right? So that probably was automatically, right? But the people that were sorting them, they may have been. I always look out the window when a car goes by. Do you do that? My mom used to hang and play card games and eat cheese sandwiches when she was in high school. Isn't that great? Yeah, I had these people. I joined this group. I was an Episcopalian. I'm of Latter-day Saints now. But when I was young, I was Episcopalian. So, and they had this group called the Daughters of the King. And so I went to it, and it was met on Thursday mornings or something. So by then I must have been, when was I ever out of school? Must have been in the summer. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. So I met with this group, and they were all older ladies. I mean, older than me. They were all mothers, and maybe a grandmother or two. Now that I'm a grandmother, I realize how young a grandmother really is. I mean, yeah, really. They're not old people. You think your parents they know everything, or they think they do, and they may know it wrong, but they certainly know things too. Great enforcers. Really hard. I love being my role as a grandma. I have these preschoolers, but now they're getting older, but because there is no school. They have had school. What month are we in now? May? We were locked down in March, I think, the beginning of March. Down for 9 more weeks. I don't think there's any COVID in my county, but the COVID in Toronto and Ottawa and other parts are in our hospitals. So because it's bad in other places, but it's all getting better. That's what they say. The numbers are, but they never really go down. I mean, they're going down to really high places, higher than the highest peak in the first wave, right? It's a strange time to live, isn't it? I live in Canada. Oh, Canada, my home and native land. True patriot love, our son's command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north free. Oh, Canada. Wait a minute. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. The kids, or they, when they had school. Except university, I did a little university here. 2 courses at Waterloo. And if I ever do 2 more courses at the University of Waterloo and graduate, I will have I mean, think of what I can do with a diploma at, but I don't have it yet. And I won't be 65 if I do get it, because I'll have to have some time to get it. But if I did, from the University of Waterloo, and Waterloo is really hard to get into university in Canada. You have to have really good grades. And they grade really low. I was pretty much a B student. I'd get the odd A and the odd C. But I never got a D and I never got an F, ever. I came to Canada and I did what I did and I studied the way I studied. And I had this, it was social psychology, such an amazing course. It's all about how, and anyway, there were things in that course that I learned, like a person who is more likely to do us a favor for that person again. Like putting a sign in a yard. If you let a person put a political sign in your yard, statistically, or according to the studies, to let them put it in the yard again. So this is the things about social psychology. But in that course, there were all these studies, and it was very complicated, and it wasn't so much study and when it was done and but what went on, the study was really interesting, all these different studies. And so I had a friend, of course, with a different teacher. And no, wait a minute, that's wrong. Memory is very fallible, just in case you weren't aware. So once upon a time, I enrolled in social psychology at the University of Waterloo, and a teacher who wrote everything on the board and you copied it off, and that was your exam. In the end, you would be repeating those things onto the exam. It was a perfect, sure thing. You could easily ace this course. And then there was this other guy that he taught the other class. He was teaching all these studies, and it was, I don't know how I found out. Maybe I went to the wrong class, went to the right class. I don't know. But so I switched classes. So I could have made an A in that other one. I mean, I had a biology teacher in high school that was like that. He was Mr. Billings, was a very little old man. He had taught at the high school previously. This is the period They took the high school. There were white high schools and black high schools. This was 1960s something, 1970, I guess it was. I was in grade 10, which had formerly been the black, had been changed into only grade 10 in the entire city of Athens, Georgia. I got to meet all the kids my age in the entire city. It was amazing. The whole high school was my class, my grade. And so my boyfriend came from the other side of that, like it opened up the world to me. There was a whole other half of town. But anyway, I guess you don't generally end up with the people that you grow up with all the time. I think people know too many people's faults if you've gone to school with them from the time you're young and you have made judgments about them. And so to fall in love with them, maybe the odd one, but anyway, and from that, I jumped to my grandfather's clock. And I have no idea where I was before. Mr. Billings' class. Ah, yes, the desegregation. So it had been the reason that the desegregation was going on was because Black people were not getting the education that white people got. Black people went to Black colleges taught by Black professors, and their education was also, so it was generation not as good education. So so they decided they would bus kids around from here to there. So we had, in 1963, there was a little Black boy in my class. He was the first one. And by the time I was in grade 10, right, or even probably grade 6, maybe even less, maybe it was soon after that, but they were busing kids in. And so it was 50% Black, 50% white. So the teachers were also the Black school teachers and the white school teachers. Mr. Billings was from the Black school, and he was a Black man. And there goes a blue heron right over my house. He's right about there now. Do you ever see those star apps? Do you ever see those apps that show you the stars, and like you can aim it anywhere? So in the daytime you can there and you can aim it down and you can see what stars are down, what are over Australia. So if I was gonna look through the earth, so west is that, my house are the directions of the, so west is that way. And if I go west long enough, I would come to, where am I in relation to Australia on the map? Like the Pacific Ocean, doesn't it take up almost like half of the globe? Like when they put the map on the world on there, you never see this huge part of the Pacific Ocean in the middle, right? That's always just the little bits at the edge. But that's almost as big as everything. So what's exactly on the other side of me? So there's North America, and there's Toronto. And this will be Africa. And then there's Europe. But we're getting pretty far around now, aren't we? So we'll turn our globe. And here's Africa. That far? Okay, and then we've got Europe. We're up too high. I'm Toronto. The world goes higher. This would be Europe. They go over the top. Europe is over Africa. Okay, this is North America and South America. We're just north. This is North America and that's South America. And I'm up here in Toronto, and up here is the Arctic. Okay, and so then this is, if that's the Arctic, then the top of this is Greenland. and the bottom of it is going to be Africa. No, Greenland's in the middle, so Africa's got to be out further. Turn them around, and we got here's us up here. We now okay. So then after Africa and Europe, we have the USSR, which goes all the way. Oh, it's not called that. I know. So now we're going out here. Okay, and then China. Well, we've gone around the world twice. So I guess they're closer together. So then we have so we have oh, he's watching. The news is very interesting lately. Ugh. Should probably not listen to it. Probably not get involved. Okay, so we got North and South. We've got Africa with Europe above it. Yeah, Africa's way down in the southern hemisphere. It goes through just the top of Africa, right? So North and South America and Europe. And then we have, after Europe, we have the USSR and China. And then here we have all the Asian places. India is going to be way down below, but here we have, we've got Vietnam down there and all that stuff. China, Vietnam. Okay, so Vietnam. Where's Australia and New Zealand? Must be. East. West from California, you get to Hawaii, and then you get, right? Or Hawaii. And Australia is before Vietnam? Below, it's not the north. Huh. I'll have to look at a map. Oh, look, there's 3 people there and 6 thumbs ups. It's nice to talk to you guys. I have so much fun Zooming with my grandchildren, or whatever it's called, and playing Minecraft now. I find that Minecraft is, you have many, like, you only have to watch. It's like the basics of life, right? It's nothing frivolous about it. Like, you gotta start at 0. Oh, my toe is cramping. Uh-oh, I have to go. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Okay, I'll end the stream. Goodbye, guys.